we're going to teach you how to do an operation plan. You need to have a plan for how you're going to run your daily, weekly, monthly, yearly operations, set your goals, align your operations with your mission and vision statement, and then actually just execute the business of the relationship.
Daily operations. Dive into the details. What does that exactly mean?
It may seem that I'm nitpicky in saying you got to get down to the detail of doing the day-to-day, but setting up good practices from day one is important. A lot of times couples, one will work day, one will work night. Well, how do we, on a daily basis, make sure we have a touch point, an interaction time, in making sure that you both know what has to be done that day? In, say, you've got kids, and say somebody has to pick up milk. You're out of milk. And in the morning, you say, we're going to do a 5-minute touch point before we leave the house to make sure we're both on the same page. And in that, you review, hey, I can stop and get milk. I get out early today. Today's a good day for me to do that. Or if you're going to have a stressful day, you both know you're going to have a stressful day. That little touch point will let you know, I'm probably going to be a little cranky when I get home. So today we need to plan on a little extra grace and mercy for each other because we're both going to have real stressful days. That's okay. You know at the beginning of your day that when you get home, if my wife's cranky, cool. I already know that. And that gives you just simple. And one exercise I do in restoration with couples is give each other a compliment every single day. Make that part of your operating agreement. Make that part of, this is just what we do daily because it's what we want to do and it's how we want our relationship to operate daily. If you have faith, maybe do some reading together in the morning. Maybe do a prayer before you guys leave the house. Whatever it is that gets you in touch, gets you launched off, and gets you in a place where each day is going to have some way to make sure you're touching each other, not physically, but you're having that touch point verbally. And maybe it's give each other a hug. Studies show that husbands that kiss their wife before they leave the house live longer. Do you want to live longer? Throw that in your daily operations. Every day before I leave the house, I'm going to kiss you, even if I'm mad at you.
A basic framework for this is like a morning connection, communication throughout the day, an evening routine, and then some sort of affection, which you've laid out in a very approachable standpoint. It doesn't have to look exactly like that, but it can be, that framework can be applied depending upon any schedules.
Mm-hmm. And communication may seem unnecessary, but I can't tell you how many people get in arguments. She keeps calling me all day during my work day, and I get in trouble every time I get a call. Probably want to have a communication plan. If I'm going to be in a meeting and I'm going to be with a customer all day, I'll tell Angel, just text me, and there'll be a delay in my response. Now she knows that day, if I text you, it may be 3-4 hours before I respond versus her just going, wow, my husband's not texting me. What's going on? I eliminate that need to have an unnecessary stressor just because here's our communication plan.
Yeah, the days that I'm extra busy, Ariana always calls me on my way home or on her way home from work. And the days I know I'll be recording at that time, I'll just tell her. I probably not gonna be able to answer, so she just doesn't even call. And then she gets home and she's just like, "What have you been doing?" And so yeah, that's huge.
And one of the other thing that I think is important is if you work outside the house, part of your daily routine has to be I'm transitioning from my work day to my home day. And your drive home is that time to decompress from your work day and say, when I walk in the door, I'm available to my wife and my family. And a lot of people come in the door expecting that they're going to have a half hour to themselves. You just had a half hour drive home. Use that time effectively so that you switch from workday operations to home life operations and be intentional about it.
Weekly operations, date night, weekly meeting. What are some things in your philosophy on that?
you're running the daily and you do your weekly touch point. Hey, here's what we did well this week. Last week, here's what we didn't do well. Here's what we have coming up this week. Yeah. Here's where we're at with money. Hey, we've got this big expense. How are we going to pay for it? This little thing's been bothering me, but I really didn't want to bring it up during the week. Well, now I have a designated time to talk about it. You both come to that meeting knowing this is the point and place where we can talk about things. It gives you that forum to know your voice is going to be heard. So then you can be okay with not having to talk about it during the middle of a stressful week. And if you really want to be, if you have a planner or one of those organized type people, set an agenda. And if there's a couple issues you need to talk about, make sure you both know it so that you come prepared to be able to discuss it. And when you have kids, bring the kids to the family meeting and let them be part of understanding this is how the house operates. It just doesn't magically happen. It's all of us contributing in a way. Hey, what do you have this week at school? Oh, I got tests this week. Oh, cool. So you're going to need a little extra sleep. You're going to need extra time. Let's make sure bedtime's a priority. You're all on the same page. You're all working to the same goal. And it just allows you to get aligned.
I think it's the harmony. It needs to be clear, especially if you have kids. I'm excited to share that, but it's earned, not just doesn't just happen. And that the way to do that is especially starting daily and then it goes to weekly. So then the monthly, what comes to mind?
Budget review is usually definitely a monthly. In the finance, I'm CFO. I do the actual budget. Angel's not in the day-to-day of paying bills, but we have to have a specific place to touch point and go, here's where we're at. Hey, we're short. Hey, we got extra. What do we as a family want to do with it?
It'd be as simple like me and Ariana right now are obviously somewhat newly married. It's now gotten to the point where it's like, Ariana's like, we good? Did we do good? And I go, yes or no. And if it's no, the questions open up. If it's yes, okay, cool, move on.
I would challenge you to say, why is it good? If you don't know why it works, you're not able to replicate it.
I think, yeah, we've just been subconsciously, it's like, just, we entered some new state of mind where it was like, if it doesn't benefit both of us, then it's definitely up for question. And it's like, if we really want something, we'll just consult throughout the month. Like, hey, I really want this. Do you care or do you agree? But I'll have to think about how I can apply that.
Or you can do relationship checkup questions. Hey, is there anything or any of your needs not being met? Anything that I could do to be a better husband? Hey, I've really been working on this in my communication. Is it working for you? And just make sure that you're both there. Pick something for the month you want to do and say, hey, let's pick a new word every day and try to enter it into our vocabulary. And at your monthly go, hey, these words I like, these words I don't. Which ones did you like? If you're of faith, share what you're working on spiritually, what God's been talking to you about. If you're struggling at work, say, this month has been really tough. I'm really thinking about trying to get a new job. What do you think? Bring your partner into, because every problem in relationship is your guy's problem to solve. Every problem is the couple's problems, not the individual. Make sure you're bringing your partner in there, whether it's daily, whether it's weekly, whether it's monthly. You unite as a team, and it's our company, the Magar Inc. It's our problem to solve. How do we, as the executives of this company, want to solve this problem?
When you and Angel enter your monthly checkup or meeting, does one person kind of lead it more than the other? Or do you guys kind of come together mutual ground? Did it change over time? Because this is something I could definitely improve, and I'm curious how you guys operate.
Sure. Angel and I will have a conversation. We do it every Sunday, and we just turn our family meeting is a weekly every Sunday. Once a month, it's our monthly meeting. But we will touch base on what we want to talk about. So we initiate that conversation on Saturday. so that she and I are aligned, because you always want to be a united front with the kids. And then I drive the agenda and Angel takes notes. So she'll type on her phone and send us all the meeting minutes after, so that we all know what we talked about and we're all able to, here's what we talked about and here's where we're at, and go forward. Talk about our travel schedule for the next month. Hey, Angel's out of town. I know that because she's told me in our monthly meeting, and then she tells me again in our weekly meeting, so that I don't forget, because we're both busy. We both have a lot going on. And my daughter has a ton going on. So all three of us are in lockstep of where we succeeded, failed, or if we're doing great, we just ask each other a question, or we turn it into game night and just have fun as a family. But you use it as an intentional place where you're going to have hard conversations if needed.
Going to quarterly, you mentioned marriage health check and maybe a mini getaway or a special day.
Businesses, when you measure your performance, you'll do monthly, and then every quarter you see where you're at for the year. First quarter, we're really far behind. We know we have to work harder for the next 3 quarters to hit our plan. And you should annually have your goals set for you as a couple. It gives you the ability to do a checkup and how are we progressing? Are we working well towards our goal? If your goal is to be debt free and you had a plan and your budget supports you being debt free by the end of the year, if you're done with the first quarter and you haven't paid off a dime of the debt, you're only paying the interest, probably might be a good point to reevaluate. We're not going to hit our goal, but what can we reshape our goal to? And really, variables happened. You got sick, you missed work, you're out of work, your legs broke, whatever it is. How do we realign so that end of the first quarter, how do we do the next 3 quarters together? End of the second quarter, how do we do the second half of the year well? End of the third quarter, how do we finish well? What are we doing for Christmas? What's the plan for that? If we haven't talked about it all year, Christmas is going to come. Who's doing the gifts? What are we going to get? Make sure you're just having all those little conversations and then checking in based on your one-on-ones. Hey, those last 3 months, I've been so connected with you. It's awesome. Or those last 3 months, we've been so busy. We're really disconnected. What's our plan to get reconnected so that we don't stay in a pattern of disconnection?
And one thing written is celebrating the wins.
Always good to celebrate wins.